It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 15th. The prodigal son has returned. Good morning, Brian Zepp.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm all right, brother. What's the story, my man?
Made it back to the Midwest. I will say, my flight got canceled on Sunday. From Montana, Bozeman, Montana, back to Minneapolis. And, it happened in a lot of good ways. It'd be easy to, one of these traveling nightmares, flight gets canceled. But mine, luck have it happened on the back end of the vacation, so it didn't cost me any vacation. I extended my vacation. But the big thing was I received a notification before I went to the airport that it had been canceled. So I was able to.
Hold on, that's entirely humane.
I know, that's...
Never heard of such a thing.
Right. We marveled at it. We're like, they actually sent me a notification. Flight canceled. They don't give a reason or anything. I don't know what was going on out there in the chain of flights. It doesn't matter. I hadn't had... In fact, it was the night before. So I'm like, well, all right, try to get a flight out of here. And there was not another. There aren't a lot of flights out of Bozeman daily to Minneapolis.
Now, doesn't it wind you up to know the night before? Because you're thinking, wait, you still have plenty of time to fix this, don't you? I mean, that's what I would do. I'd be like, okay, great for the heads up. But wait, we're still 12 hours out. What the hell are you doing between now and then?
Right. That's what I was thinking. I thought you can't get another plane in here. Just canceled. No excuse. No, hey, listen, we're a little backed up. One of the planes fell out of the sky. Something, crazy like that.
Right.
Just simply, no, it's been canceled. But, yeah, so then you spend the night there laying on the couch trying to find another flight to here to Poughkeepsie. If I drive can I then catch a hitchhike to there to catch a plane from there? And then you try again the next morning and realize, no, I'm just stuck with another day of vacation.
I'm sure you handled it with class, with dignity.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, if I had been stuck at the airport, I would have been an entirely different creature.
Sure.
Or on the front end, when you're trying to get to your vacation, if they cost you a day, yeah. I mean, just rage. But we have to fight it then.
I've seen that happen enough. I've seen enough people, at the airport screaming to someone about the meeting they're going to miss, and they're usually holding a briefcase, and then that glazed look on the gate attendant's face going,
yeah, they don't care.
Okay, well, maybe get a new job, dude. I don't know. I have a job where people scream at me standing in an airport in uncomfortable loafers.
Right.
That's how that goes. A bunch of U.S. airlines are about to have some headaches. This is the first time I've heard of anything like this, and when I saw this headline, I thought maybe this was already something to do with you, but apparently it wasn't at all. But JetBlue, Spirit, and Hawaiian Airlines, among a group of companies around the world who've got an issue right now because there are 1,200 jet engines that have been recalled. Pratt & Whitney, the company that makes jet engines on a bunch of planes, have recalled 1,200 engines. That's going to just add to the fun autumnal travel nightmares that the airlines are experiencing. If you are booked on JetBlue, Spirit, or Hawaiian over the next few months, you might want to really take a close look at things and stay on top of that schedule, because there are going to be some engines being repaired across those three airlines.
Yeah, it's kind of like a traveling crunch here, because everyone's getting that last-minute vacation in before the kids go off to school. Labor Day weekend's coming up, of course.
Yep.
So, yeah, the bargain airlines, some of those airlines, that's going to be a pain. And that wasn't the case with my particular flight. But, it was one of the big ones. I just say it was Delta, so I was just flying Delta.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I guess they have that luxury, just like, we're not flying this plane. Deal with it. But they did, like you said, a whole day's heads up. It was a nice touch, I guess.
Lovely to have you back up until that moment.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to ever say an extra day on vacation is like, oh, poor you.
Yeah.
Good week, though. You had a good week.
Oh, yeah, it was a fantastic week. The weather was great out there. It dipped. I had one of those, at the end of August or beginning of August, rather, end of July. It always gets hot everywhere. But the temperature dipped unseasonably cool, low 70s, which is how I like to spend it in the Rockies.
Nice.
A little chilly in the morning, but
right.
I like that as well.
Vacation looks like it's ended for Minnesota Vikings, former Minnesota Viking Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
My man went to 4 straight Pro Bowls, as everybody knows. Started every game last year for the first time in his career. About 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry. All this to say, 6 seasons in Minnesota, Cook ran for just under 6,000 yards, 47 touchdowns. He's a baller. And the Minnesota Vikings, rather than pay him $14 million, said, why don't you just hit the road, bud? We'll see you. We got a flight right here on Spirit Airlines. And if the engines work, you can take it anywhere you want out of town. And apparently he is going to take it. Apparently he's going to take it and now sign with the New York Jets. So Dalvin Cook, Aaron Rodgers, best buddies now up in New York.
Yeah, I've always loved Dalvin Cook. He's much more than stats, I thought, for Minnesota because he was a big play guy. We bust Kirk Cousins' chops a little bit, not making the big plays when you need him. Dalvin Cook was that when you needed to bust a big run, when you needed a big play, when you needed a big game out of him. He showed up. He's going to be a great addition to the Jets. I don't understand the cap stuff. Like I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and go, you couldn't pay him $14 million. Maybe you couldn't. I don't know. Make it work. But I noticed no other team, put down a big 5-year contract on him. I guess you have to let that cap thing sort of run its course.
The Jets already have Breece Hall, too, who's a baller.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's not a great time to be a running back in the NFL. We can safely assume that as the game has changed. And every year there's a fourth or fifth round draft pick who shows up and runs for 1,200 yards. And every time that happens, every GM in the league looks at their high-priced first-round draft pick and goes, what are we doing with this guy? Anybody can run the ball right now. It seems to be, there's only a handful of guys. Derrick Henry's one. There's guys that are just, they got a Brinks truck backed up to their door. But, the minute that deal ends, I think we've seen the end of the running back being a high-priced commodity because there's so much talent in that position. And the way the game has changed, it's all about the QB, and we've known that forever, but even more so, there's just an extra. If you're a running back, maybe, I don't really know, maybe start thinking about defensive back because they're still paying cornerbacks.
Yeah, they are. It's one of those things by committee now, right? But even wide receivers, of course, you have your marquee big-time wide receivers, but teams are trying to get 2 and 3 big-time wide receivers. One, or that slot wide receiver with the big fast guy on the outside. So you're right, the game's changed. I see Ezekiel Elliott did a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots out of Dallas.
Yeah.
So, you just, that old, we need Jim Brown to win championship, those decades are long gone.
Speaking of wide receivers, Jordan Addison, the rookie here in Minnesota who got popped in St. Paul doing 140 in his Lamborghini SUV. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I saw one of those Lamborghini SUVs yesterday for the first time. I actually saw one, and I looked at it. I was at a red light, and it was parked on the street, and I thought, yeah, I'd probably go 140 in that thing too. Yeah, I mean, especially when I was 23 years old, I was just looking at it, going like, I don't get excited about because it's not like the Lamborghini, it's not like the sports car you're used to. It's not like that thing every 12-year-old has a poster of, and then hopefully by the time you're 14, you've outgrown. It just looked like kind of a badass hybrid sort of SUV car, whatever it is. I was looking at it, going, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that totally checks out.
So if you were getting a Lambo, would you go with the SUV? Why would you do that?
Yeah, and because I have experience. I've driven a Lamborghini, one of the silly looking racing car Lamborghini things. A buddy of mine in Nashville used to have a company called he rented those high-end cars for like $300 an hour for a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. And he had sponsored. He had a roofing company, and then this car thing he had. And so his roofing company was a part of my local sports talk radio show in Nashville years ago. And so he opened. And he was telling me about it. He goes, "Well, come on down sometime, man." And he said, "You got kids?" And I said, "Yeah, my son is at the time." He goes, "I got a 12-year-old." He goes, "Oh, man, come on! I'll give you pick a car for an hour and go drive around in it." And I got this metallic, sort of sparkly purple Lamborghini. When I sat in it, I felt like my ass was already on the road. It was so low.
Right.
And I felt like the biggest idiot of all time. It's so silly to be sitting in that car driving around in a town with normal people. It was like, like if you were in West Hollywood, okay, you know what I mean? But driving around like Nashville, and then we got on the highway, and of course my 12-year-old is like doing cartwheels in his seat.
Yeah.
When we got on the highway and I punched it, I was like, okay, I don't care how stupid this looks. This is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so that 1 hour turned into 2 hours. And then that night, I had to drop him off at a friend's bar mitzvah, and he goes, "Dad, can we bring the Lambo to the bar mitzvah?" I was like, "No, you can't show up the bar mitzvah, boy.
Why not?
I was like, "There's no way you pull. If you get out of this Lamborghini, it's your party, and I'm not doing that to your friend."
Oh, that's true. That's
good
true.
stuff.
Don't upstage anyone on that. All right. Well, it is good to be back. Mike Evans is back live with us this morning, and his Hollywood Report coming here at 6:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 15th, and I'm very happy to say it is time. It is past time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, you guys. Welcome back. Hope everybody's doing great. And today, as always, report brought to you by Marcus Theaters. And today is Tuesday. And so happy, Marcus, proud to announce Value Tuesday. $6 is all it costs you to see any movie, 20% off all the concessions, and don't forget the restaurants at the theaters are absolutely fantastic. We got some love nuggets for you, so check this out. Brody Jenner and his bride had a baby.
Okay,
Brody's mom
you got to fill this in. Sorry, who is Brody Jenner?
Who is Brody Jenner?
Thank you, Candace, for repeating the question.
Bruce Jenner's child.
Okay.
Now an adult.
Got it.
Brody's mom/dad, Caitlyn Bruce Jenner, says she's very excited about the new addition to the family. However, Brody says he will do everything he can to raise his child the exact opposite way that Caitlyn raised him. Brody says that Caitlyn was absent at most of his school activities and promises to be a much better parent. I don't know you need to put out that dirty laundry, do you?
What are you kidding? We're talking about them. That's all that matters.
Yes, you're right.
I would imagine Caitlyn wrote that press release.
I don't know. Crazy. Speaking of parenting, you're a parent.
I am.
Let's see what you think of this little nugget. Drew Barrymore has two daughters, 9-year-old Olive and 10-year-old Frankie. Drew spends every free minute she has with her girls. However, Drew says that they are only allowed an hour a day on their iPads.
Mm-hmm.
Drew says that iPads she doesn't think are good for kids. An hour a day is plenty. What do you think of that?
Yeah, if you can continue that, if you can get away with that, if you can pull it off, well, why not? I think that you've got to allow kids to be a part of their generation. I mean, you don't want to create a kid who has no clue what's going on with their peers. So a little bit of time is good, but I think 1 hour a day beats the hell out of I don't care, whatever, just don't look at porn, you know.
Yeah. Well, my wife only allows me about an hour a day. That's about all she allows me.
And look at all you do with it, Mike. You give us nugget after nugget after nugget.
I try. Tom Brady and Irina Shayk are hotter than ever. Check this out, Steve. Apparently, they have gone into hiding. Their publicists say that they want to be left alone and will be going public anytime soon.
Okay, great.
And it's exactly like you said. They're putting out these press releases just to get press.
Yeah, and you know what? Just a little bit below the surface of my yard, there's moles. Whatever.
Yeah.
If I don't see them, I don't care.
There you go. Pittsburgh Pirate pitching rookie Paul Skenes is dating LSU super gymnast, TikTok superstar Olivia Dunn, who, as you know, has already made over a record $4 million through college's new name, image, likeness program.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been dating a long time. They were dating, I think, in high school. I know they were dating the whole time they were at LSU. So,
jeez,
good for them.
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Go for it, kids.
Hot tip, folks. Write this down. Website, cyberguy.com. Cyberguy.com belongs to a guy named Kutson, who lived not far from me in Santa Monica and has had this website for 25 years. You see him on television every once in a while. He's really great at contacting people to contact him. Every answer to any question you may have had about being online or computers, trust me, he can answer them. Cyberguy.com.
Wow, fair enough.
But man, I have a lot of friends in Maui. Just yesterday, I was able to locate all of them. Thank God, all of them are all right. And by the way, celebrities that live in Maui include Paul Simon, Kelsey Grammer, Mick Fleetwood, Carlos Santana, Oprah, Randy Travis, Helen Hunt, Woody Harrelson, and others. And so far, all of their homes are intact, not affected by the fire. And by the way, perhaps the celebrity doing the most behind the scenes to help the folks in Maui is a Hawaii native, Jason Momoa. And Steve, I'll tell you, being from Hawaii, being raised in Hawaii, it's hard to get your head around this tragedy of how bad it is.
I've been thinking about you, Mike. I assumed you had a very close connection. The name of the town, how is it pronounced, that was destroyed?
Lahaina.
Yeah, Lahaina. I still can't get over the footage I see every day, and I still can't believe how quickly this storm blew up. And I guess I mean there's just nothing to say other than it's completely tragic. I'm glad to hear your people are okay, and I imagine you'll continue to give us updates and let us know if people want to be able to help out anywhere where some legit sources are.
Yeah, there are, and people are helping, and it's. But that little town that used to be the capital of Hawaii before Honolulu, almost the entire town is 1- and 2-story wood structures that were built in the 30s and 40s, and boy, they all just went up.
What, Mike? Which island did you grow up on?
I grew up on Oahu. I grew up in a little town called Kaimuki and Eva Beach, and also in Waipahu, the three places I grew up in.
I'm assuming you've spent time on Maui, though, of course.
Oh yeah, we used to fly over to Maui for three or 4 days of golf, and at the Wailea Country Club is where I used to play a lot. And I mean, Maui's they're all special. You've been there. How many times have you been there?
I spent about 4 hours at the Honolulu airport once. That's all. I can't say I've ever been to Hawaii because that's the only time I've ever made it. Sadly, so everybody I know that has ever been, it looks at me with wonder when I say I've never made it out there.
It is the most beautiful place on earth that I've ever been to. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad your folks are okay, and like I said, I know we'll be talking about it again, Mike. As always, brother, it's a pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure. Talk to you tomorrow. See you.
See you. Mike Evans, Hollywood Report right there. Hey, we were talking just a moment ago on the show before Mike Evans. Zepp had a flight canceled the other day, so he was off the air yesterday, spending an extra day in Bozeman, extra day of vacation. Sometimes it's good to be Brian Zepp. Sometimes it's not good to be Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie, did you see this story?
Yeah.
Lionel Richie was supposed to play Madison Square Garden. He's on tour with Earth, Wind & Fire. This tour was just at the XL Energy Center last week. An hour after Earth, Wind & Fire finished, everyone's waiting for Lionel to come out. And via Twitter, I'm sorry, this was Friday night or Saturday night. This is over the weekend. He wrote, due to severe weather and being unable to land in New York and the surrounding areas, unable to make it to the show tonight. In case you're wondering if Lionel Richie is in town 1 minute before he needs to be to perform in your town. Lionel Richie's like circling New York and says he can't land after the point he's supposed to be on stage. Yeah, dude, that's why we get in a day early.
Yeah.
Come on, Lionel.
Yeah.
People were foaming at the mouth. By the way, a sold-out Madison Square Garden show. And the Twitter things, man, I mean, just people who had spent thousands of dollars on flights, hotels, made it a weekend. You know, you want to see Earth, Wind & Fire, Lionel. That's a lot of hits from back in the day. That's brutal, man. It's one thing to cancel a gig when people are already in the building, but to say, sorry, they just won't let me land, man, that is especially, that's just like poking a bruise that's already there. You know what I mean?
Parachute down.
Yeah, really. Hey, guys, what time am I on? I'm on at 9. All right, I'm going to book it so I land at about 8:15, and then I'll helicopter over to the Garden from New Jersey. Does that sound good? Let's do it.
Oh, man. Wasn't he coming from, like, Boston? Couldn't he have just driven in, like, an hour and a half?
I don't have any idea. It's just insane to me that after this long. First of all, it's insane to me that, he sold out the Garden.
Yes,
but, hey, what do I know?
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought, somebody was talking about driving there from, it was Kentucky or Tennessee, And like you said, we've spent thousands, and we've been looking forward to this for years. And I thought, really? Lionel Richie? All
Earth,
right.
Wind and Fire I can get behind.
All right.
I'm down with EWF, man. There was a time in my life when nothing meant more to me.
Well, and it was a big deal. Derek Jeter was supposed to be there because it's been rescheduled for tomorrow, but Derek can't make it because of, a scheduling conflict. But what was Derek Jeter going to do at the show?
I really don't know. I think he was just going to go enjoy another night as the Prince of New York City, perhaps.
Just parade him out there? All right.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me tell you something. If the KQ Morning Show ever decides to go to New York and we can have Derek Jeter hang out with us, it's going to help. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are. You want Jeter nearby at all times.
Maybe he wasn't even on stage. Maybe they just announced that Derek Jeter's going to be, and he's in the audience. You may see him in the lobby.
Probably not. Just, you know what? You could take stock footage of him like at a Knicks game and put it up on the Garden big jumbotron, and everybody be like, yes.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Tuesday, August the 15th. The band is back together. We are all here after last week's wonderful week off, back at work. Back at KQRS, back at a job we all love, really, because it's all about the chairs, isn't it, guys?
It's all about the chairs. So many chairs to choose from. Sometimes I like to use 3 or 4 different chairs in a morning.
If any of our listeners ever have the opportunity to come to KQRS, you're going to walk in and go, man, this is so cool to see where you guys do the show. What's with all the chairs? It's just one of those things. I don't understand it. I guess I could ask questions. I just prefer to stay in the dark. A lot of chairs in the building.
Just enjoy.
Buy one, get one free, I think, when we moved in.
Anywhere you sit, you can always there's a footrest right next to you. It looks just like the chair you're sitting in. You can choose which one's a chair, which one's a footrest. How do you want to make it work? You can do two. You can do 2 footrests. You can go, with the Y shape seated thing if you'd like. We make that nice for you. It is a fine place to work. We've all had jobs, however, where you get weird things on the side. Companies go out of their way not to give you a pay raise or not to really do anything that puts them out, but they like to just, little incentive here and there, a little bonus, little boost, little, hey, well done, man, good job. And there are some astounding things that people have shared online that they've received from work for a job well done. My favorite on this list that we're all taking a look at, one company gave an employee an extra 10-minute break. They said, "Man, you are doing awesome. We're going to give you an extra 10 minutes." And they gave a piece of paper that explained this, and it says, "You've won an extra 10-minute break." And then the rules. Is it a break if there are rules? Is it really a break if there are rules? Rule number 1. I'm not making this up. Give at least 24 hours notice.
Oh, my God.
You can only take 1 minute at a time.
2, do not have to pick the same day. I don't even know what that means. I guess the same day as your other break. You cannot add this to a regular break.
Oh, yeah.
You can't piggyback 10 minutes on top of another break. This is a separate break. It expires within 30 days. And then rule number 5, choose wisely. I mean, if a boss handed me that piece of paper, I'd say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend 10 minutes at work tomorrow calling you every name I can possibly think of. That'll be my break.
There was a committee that planned that out, too.
Yeah.
And at first it sounds like a little kid would give their parents a gift. It's always this gift certificate, good for 1 free hug.
All right. But rules to this silly 10-minute break, that's the part that gets me because, I give them an extra 10-minute break. And then someone said, well, wait a minute. What if they add it to their 10? Oh, my gosh. Then that's going to be 20 minutes of them off the job. We can't, so we better come up with some rules. And then everybody starts pitching around rules for a freaking 10-minute break. I like the 24-hour advance notice. What is
right? And who do you send that to?
Doing? Yeah, they have their finger on the button. Are they in a silo somewhere, a nuclear silo? What is? Well, that's the thing. Like, what's the job itself? Where for you to get 10 minutes, they really have to plan this out. I mean, are you
You're probably just. I think of that Kids in the Hall skit where guys stand around and they just put their hands in a fish tank all day. That's their job. It's like, you're accomplishing nothing.
Yes.
You're just soaking your hands in a big pool of koi.
I had a non-compete for a while when I first got to KQ, and so I couldn't be on the air for a year. So they gave me one of those off-air jobs, and where you sit in a cubicle and the whole thing. And first of all, the most stunning thing the most jarring aspect of the job was that I had to be there from 9 to 5. I said, well, what if I'm done with my work at 3? Well, you have to stay till 5, Mr. Air Personality. That's how we do it around here, which just blew my mind. And then I figured out how they fill their days. They have meetings. And nothing ever gets accomplished. It's just they just meet and kill time. And I thought this is the worst happy hour I've ever been to. I like this employer gave employees a literal rock. It's a rock that says you rock on it. I'd whip it at their, this will take out your car window nicely. You're parked in the manager's spot right out front, right? God.
It's just unreal to me that there are people who think this is what anyone wants. I mean, if you do it as an inside joke with someone else, one-on-one, whatever, but when the official, like, quote-unquote boss is handing things out, it's kind of mind-boggling. I have to go back, Zepp, just picturing you in a cubicle. I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for the person next to you in their cubicle.
I was the worst.
It's as the caged animal is sitting in a chair at a desk in front of a computer.
They're cut-out cartoons
and they were trying to get stuff done. It was like continuity and traffic, and there was data entry and scheduling things and coordinating with salespeople and program directors. And I was, shooting spit wads at them, and
beautiful
and pranking them constantly because I didn't have 8 hours to fill.
I like. There's one on this list. An employee generated an extra $6 million in sales. Now I don't have the company. I don't know what they were selling. He got a card from the boss, and it said, thank you with driving sales and beating our plan by $6 million. You are very appreciated. Taped to the card was one Lifesaver mint, and it said, thank you for your encouragement, your commitment, your investment, and your involvement.
Oh, I'm enragement. Is that a word?
It is now.
Oh, man. How do you make it worse? All right, so just don't even say anything, Just let them sit there and stew. You've made it worse.
Here's actually one worse than the mint.
Yeah?
It's a Ziploc bag, and it's with a card that says, I know this bag looks empty, but it's actually filled with our love.
All right. All right. This is why people, do terrible, horrible things at work.
That's true.
Try to set the building on fire.
It's enough to I never had an office job. I kind of did. I had a job where I used to go to legal legal libraries, like law firms have their a library with just all these binders of mindless information from every case that's ever been settled. Yeah, leather bound. And I had this weird job where I would walk in to the legal library, and I would open up these 3-ring binders of law stuff, and I would remove one page and then add in a new, better version of that same page. Like there'd be a big bag of a big envelope with pages, and it'd be like, okay, Blue Sky Law, volume 19, page 31C, replaced with this page. And that was a whole job I had. And it was mindless work that obviously mattered to lawyers or something. And I did that job for a while, and I had to wear a nice pair of pants. I had to wear a tie. This is like 1988. I've never been more miserable. And I did have a couple different times where there'd be like a big, senior lawyer looking guy would come by and say like, "Hey, you're doing good work there." And I'd be like, "What? You don't have to say that to me. We're never going to see each other again. I'm making $3.50 an hour. I'm only here because my friend has the company. What's that?" And I just thought, like, that's I don't know. That's the only time I've ever felt like I was stuck in an office job, and it wasn't even my office, and I didn't even really. I could have left at any time, and eventually I did finally leave. But I noticed early on, and I'm sure that all of us would say the same thing, like the idea of getting up and putting on the work clothes, the nice clothes. No, work clothes I get. Nice clothes, like dressing up to go then sit at a desk.
Right.
I'm not anybody who does. If you got a great job, that's awesome. I just know for me early on, I was like, I cannot do that. There's just something seriously wrong with me that will not allow me to get in that line.
What did that job? What was the title that came with that job?
I just the company was called Executive Library Services. That's all, and my job was just filer, I guess, or page replacer. That's all the company did. It was the whole company was started to do one thing, and it's just sit down. And that is like a Kids in the Hall skit. It's like, what's your job? Well, I take this binder, I open it. I open the 3-ring binder, I remove a page, and then I put a new page in. And then I close the binder and I put it back on the shelf. And sometimes I have to use a ladder to get to the top shelf because that's how big this library is.
It's just full of catch-22s, just little things that they do, inventing industry within industry to keep everyone busy. Well, I guess
one employee never missed a day of work for 5 years, and they were given a free breakfast at a diner around the corner. For 5 years, you never missed a day. Have breakfast on us.
Oh, boy.
Damn. I do love breakfast.
Yeah, I know that is good. How about these prizes for Employee Appreciation Day? A box of cereal, a bag of chips, a can of soup. I think my favorite one has to be the head of lettuce for Employee Appreciation Day. Grab yourself a head of lettuce, and we'll see you tomorrow. Don't have too much fun with that tonight.
I just, it blows my mind. How about the holiday party? Hey, we're having a holiday party December 4th. Everybody come in. It's mandatory, and you have to buy a ticket to get in.
But I have worked someplace where the holiday party was mandatory, and you had to bring your own stuff. Yeah, everybody had to bring food and BYOB, the whole thing. And I thought,
that was a potluck.
Yeah, a potluck, a mandatory potluck.
Yeah, right.
Right, and the boss never even showed. The big corner office never even showed. It wasn't good enough for her, I guess, at the time.
I think at the end of the day, what we're all saying is, if you're going to bonus, the general thinking here, and I think anybody would agree, if you got bonuses in mind, just cold hard cash, just lots and lots of cold hard cash,
right on the barrelhead. Parents figured that out pretty quickly. I mean, friends figured that. If you have to give a gift, I think it's somewhere in my 20s. I went, well, if I have anything to give, it's money, because that's what people want. I'm not I'm not one of those thoughtful people that remembers a conversation we had 6 months ago where you were talking about, wanting this own build. You want to build your own candle. I'm going to get him a build their own candle set 6 months from now for Christmas. No, cash always works. That always gets the job done. Yeah.
Do you know what the Jelly of the Month Club is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So instead of a
KY, I believe.
Is it?
No, maybe.
Oh my God. Chad on the Facebook page said that he got a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club instead of a bonus.
Give me meat of the month, maybe, or sausage of the month, jelly of the month. Who eats that much jelly anyway?
There's grape and strawberry. What else is there?
You would if you knew there was another one coming in a month.
Right. There's all those other flavors that you don't try, like mango berry or something. I don't know. You're right.
Jelly of the month. That is great. I guess because honestly, there's grape, there's strawberry. Those are the staples that you see everywhere. I guess raspberry, peach. Yeah, I've had apple butter. I guess you would put that in the jelly family. Okay, there's more. But are there literally 12? Can you tell me Jelly of the Month means you're getting one of, at least there's no such thing as a something of the month club that only lasts 6 months, is there? You got to get at least a calendar year in there.
Well, maybe there's blends, once you start blending them. You go through all the berries. There's the raspberry,
maybe one is petroleum.
Jelly, that's what I said. Maybe KY shows up. It's going to be a fun month.
Artisanal jellies, handcrafted in a butter churn.
No, I know there are people out there. I remember bathrobes being given as company bonuses, these sorts of things. Call in and share them, 651-989-ROCK. That's the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and text line. You want to get something in. We might cross streams here. If you have something to add, great. Otherwise, we're moving on to the moment you realized you were dating a dummy. This is delicate because... I'm the dummy usually, but they might be listening. I don't know. What do you expect? I'm a radio broadcaster. What were you thinking you were getting? We have some pretty good examples of the moment you realized you were dating a dummy. So what do we have on the board here this morning? Dating a dummy stories, 651-989-ROCK, or some crappy bonus you received at work. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 15th. And every now and again, this is the reality of being in radio. Every now and again, every one of us here opens their mouth and says something kind of dumb.
Oh, jeez.
Not me.
Just one of those things that happens.
Yeah.
Come on.
Usually you guys, but
Well, yeah, of course. We're the ones talking. We're the ones who are uncomfortable with even a moment of silence, and therefore we have to fill it with inanity at all turns. It's very important that we keep talking. It's very important that we not say too many stupid things, because then people will go, "What a dummy!" And by the way, this is that's just reality. We've all been there. Have you ever been on a date with someone? You ever been pursuing someone? You ever been romantically or emotionally involved with someone, and then suddenly it's like a curtain is just ripped back, and you look and go, "Oh my God, there's an idiot behind that curtain."
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This is not the person I thought I was with.
Right.
Now, I may be an idiot, but there is one thing I am not, sir, and that, sir, is an idiot.
Exactly.
And I was like, I think I was okay with it. I'm like, I don't care if she's, not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. I think this is going to be good for me. Not so much. I think I get argumentative with people that are a little too bright, and then I end up losing. So I thought I'd just dumb it down to where I'm at on the scale. But then I remember getting in the first date in an argument that Scotland was not a country. She was convinced Scotland was not a country, and I thought, I can't keep doing this. We're arguing now, but about stupid things.
What did she think it was? Just a part of England?
Yeah, it was just a part of England up there. But but clearly the best one I ever heard on a date while we were walking around the store. This was not a first date, but they had the birthday candles out there, and you had the numbers, right? 0 through 9. She said, "Well, that's stupid. Why do they have a 0? Nobody has a birthday when they turn 0. Yes. Gosh, you're fun.
See, I the one thing I think I'm blessed with, it's not that I don't have really dumb thoughts, but I think I do have an internal governor that tells me, just hang on. Pause. I might not know the answer, but I know that I'm about to look like an idiot if I say this. I mean, because I've had thoughts like that. I mean, when you said that, my first thought was, oh my God, I've had moments where, and it's almost like I know that I'm missing something, but at least I know that I'm missing something. When of course a lot of times when people are missing something, they don't know, and then they blurt it out, and then of course they have the scarlet letter D for dummy on their forehead for the rest of all time.
That's the
when
key.
I look at them.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
Right.
It's really important. I was at a bar. There was a bar in Atlanta this is 35 years ago, called Atkins Park, and it was open till 4 a.m. and it was just the place to go for the last call of the night. And my little group of folks I was running with, it was a staple for us. And I was in there one night. I saw a couple of buddies, and they had a couple of friends, and then next thing you know, like, we're combining tables, and it's a whole group, probably 12 people, and I only know a few of them, and we're having a great drink up, and everyone's having fun, and there was a girl I'd never seen before, and we were sitting across the table from each other, and we couldn't really speak. It was really loud, but we were just... I noticed that what I thought we were doing was laughing at a lot of the same things. Like, we would look at each other like, that's pretty good. That was funny. And suddenly I'm imagining this connection that's being bonded over the table. Right. And at some point, my buddy Max said, hey, I got to get a menu. Anyone else want to eat? And a few people said, sure. So the waitress brings a menu, and she comes back a minute later. She goes, anybody know what you want? And I remember this like it was today. And he goes, I'll have the chicken fingers. And this girl recoiled in horror and went, oh my God, that's disgusting. and I kind of looked at her. I go, what? She goes, chicken finger? He's going to eat chicken fingers? And I just looked at her. And it was the late 80s. I guess chicken fingers were relatively a new concept. Hey. But still, I was like, okay, first of all, let's discuss chicken anatomy. I don't know much, but I do know they don't actually have fingers. Right. Like, come on. If it was called chicken claws or chicken beaks or chicken feathers, I could get it. She was like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And right away, and this was a very attractive young lady, and I just went, no, I can't. I'm sorry. I will no matter what happens, I will never not think of her as the chicken fingers girl.
No, maybe you blew it, though. Maybe she was a purveyor of only the finest of cuisine and didn't stoop to bar appetizers.
Well, then you're never going to please her. You sidestepped. You dodged a bullet, I think, probably. You don't have to take her out to those fancy, get your finger steaks, you know.
I can vaguely even still remember what she looks like, but I can feel what it made me feel inside when she said that. It was just this mix of horror and disappointment and oh no.
I know, right?
I built an amazing case for love.
Or when you say something and they laugh and you don't, you go, "Oh my God, I just said something really stupid," but they think it's a joke. I think I can get. And then you start to quickly laugh and go, "Yeah, that's right." Can you imagine? So chicken fingers, the ludicrous of it all. I like this woman. I told a guy I was dating he needed more humility, and he literally responded with, "Why would I want to be humiliated?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Triggered.
Well, let's answer the question now that you've done that to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You fulfilled that all by your lonesome.
Just great. My ex once asked me, "What kind of animal is Mickey Mouse?"
That's
pretty good. That's a good one.
God.
Oh, how about the partner who stacked cups in the dishwasher? Well, you can get so many more of them in there. That's efficiency right there. Yeah.
Man, that's pretty strong. Are we just? I don't know, Candace. You had to have heard no shortage of just completely insane things from the mouths of young men in the Twin Cities.
Oh, young men in the Twin Cities! Don't even get me started.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to get you started. I mean, have you ever had a moment when you literally just went, "I can't"? Okay, I got check, please, because of one thing someone said.
No, it's more about guys not being able to like hold a conversation. I feel like I've gone out with a lot of guys where I've had to like talk the most or try to get stuff out of guys, and they're just kind of like, I don't know.
They're lost in your eyes?
Maybe that's it.
Probably.
That could be it.
Could be it. I think the guys' conversation is tough because you want to sound cool, you want to be funny, you want to be smart. These are difficult things to do for us to pull off naturally. And it's just a little easier. You just freeze on a date.
Here's one. I dated a girl in high school. We were at the mall one day looking at the mall directory. She asked me how the map knew where we were standing. There's a star on the map that says you are here. I explained that the map was where we were standing, and we are reading it. After 10 minutes of trying to explain, she still didn't get it.
That's very funny.
That's fantastic.
Can I say something stupid? This isn't a date, but this occurred to me over the weekend, and I can't figure it out. Of course, I didn't Google it. That would have figured it out for me, but I just pondered it. And that is, in your newfangled vehicles, they have the camera looking down from the top now. You can see where you're parking, see all around you, right?
Yes.
From above.
Yeah.
How?
I know.
Satellite?
How the hell did they
not.
do that?
It's not satellite or anything that sophisticated, but they must have come up with an image of your vehicle. But then there was a cup sitting in the parking space next to me, and I could see the cup in the camera. It's real time, yeah.
I'll piggyback on this. I'll take it one step further. I thought because I got into a car. I got into a Sprinter van like a year and a half ago, and I sat in the driver's seat and I turned it on. When I put it in reverse, that's the first time I ever saw that.
Yeah.
That overhead camera. And I know it's kind of standard now. A lot of cars had them, but I'd never seen this. This is like a year and a half ago. And as I put it in reverse and I saw that, I did the thing. And my first thought was, did this car just launch a drone?
Right.
I was like, do we have our own drone? Right. But again, kept it to myself. I knew that's not something to say out loud. But my first thought was, this car comes with its own safety drone.
All right, so this is a mysterious thing to us, Nimrods. I mean, sure, there are mechanics out there. I see the phones are ringing. Someone's already Googled it. And does that drive you crazy, too, when people say your buddy gets back to you on a text like, actually, the answer to that is, I know you Googled it, dummy. Yeah, we're all brilliant, by the way. There's answers to everything. There is no question that's left unanswered any longer. But I was just asking without the benefit of Googling.
I'm happy for information. I don't care. I don't care where it comes from. Yeah. Who have we got, Candace?
Robin from Blaine.
Robin, good morning.
Hi, Steve. Hey, I talked to you a couple times before.
Right on. Good to have you back.
You only get three. Make it count.
I got the dumbest one you'll ever hear in your life. I swear to God.
Please.
About 25 years ago, I was a tow truck operator. And we got a call for a lockout where a gal had locked her keys in the car. I said, okay, so I grab all the gear to get in and this and that, and head out there. And I get there, and there's this woman standing there. We'll call her Barbie because, well, guess why, Anyway.
She was awesome and hot.
She was tan
and stupid. In the car. But here's the kicker. It was a convertible. The top was down and all the windows were down.
That can't be
for real.
Oh, that's why Barbie, a convertible. I get it.
Is that real?
Oh, that's
Come
phenomenal.
on.
I like to drink.
I once helped a lady that was doing the old pull on the door when it was a push kind of thing. When I walked up to the apartment building, she was a little intoxicated. However, that's really okay. Gosh.
All right, I have a confession.
It was you.
That was the best one.
That's a good one.
That's kind of hard to beat, Robin. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the call, brother.
So, listeners know this story that were there. There's a few of them. We had a little party, and I thought I locked my keys in the car, but I didn't. One of the doors was open, but we had AAA come out, and it was really embarrassing.
Oh, really?
Poor Ken.
Yeah.
You just didn't think to check all the doors.
Nope. Sure didn't.
That doesn't happen much anymore where one's unlocked. They all they're synchronized, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what happened, but because I could see the keys in there, and I was like, no!
Maybe you didn't pull the handle hard enough.
Yeah. Okay, now I don't know if my buddy Dwight is messing with me or not because he's in the car business. He's one of those mechanic people we talk about. It reads the camera from the other cars around you. No, he's messing with me. It reads the cameras from the other cars around. That can't be right. He's laughing. All right. See, we're dumb when we start talking about things we don't know anything about. I remember talking about the Perseid meteor shower, which had just happened over the weekend. I don't know if you guys had a chance what the skies were looking like here. I was out of town. It was spectacular, but I remember bringing that up years ago, and one of my buddies going, well, why do they call them meteor showers? I said, well, because they're meteors. I imagine and they're showering down out of the sky. He goes, oh, I thought it was meteor, MEATIER. I'm like, yeah, all right.
What, you don't eat burgers in the shower?
No, there's no burgers, no meatballs coming out of the sky, unfortunately. That would have been cooler than actual meteors.
Well, there was a movie called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, if memory serves.
That's right, there was. That was a kid's, also like a little novel series. I think Sid the Kid was into that.
Sure, very good.
Possible.
It's possible. Okay, let's move on to something that we don't have to think so much about, a game show.
Nice.
Right now, we'll take callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK. We're playing Band, Not a Band, for your chance to win tickets to George Thorogood Saturday night, September 16th at the Buck Hill Concert Series. Prize provided by Sue McLean and Associates. And our runner-up today gets tickets to Hairball Saturday at the Isanti Rodeo Fairgrounds, provided by the Isanti Fire District. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck. And hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, August the 15th. AC/DC with the Highway to Heck.
Watch your language, punk.
I was told that once. I prefer highway. I say highway to heck at my house. Right. I'm trying to think. That's an honest to God thing someone said, and I was like, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So just piggybacking on our last segment. It's amazing the things you hear in a lifetime.
What the heck? Mom used to use the old HE double toothpicks.
There you go. HE double hockey sticks. I'm familiar with that one as well.
Toothpicks doesn't make sense. I've heard that too.
Why didn't that make sense?
It doesn't have the curve like the L.
Well,
what about the small L?
Capital L, but lowercase L is just like a toothpick, yeah?
Well, you have to capitalize hell, though, don't you, out of respect?
When I picture the letter L, I usually I imagine there being a little piece of food attached to it. So sure. That's just me. That's a weird thing of me. That's part of my OCD, I guess. I don't know. One of the things we really like to do around these parts, and by these parts I mean, this show, these four folks, we love to give away tickets. We're givers, and no shortage of gigs coming up in the Twin Cities, including George Thorogood Saturday, September 16th at the Buck Hill Concert Series. George Thorogood, September the 16th We've also got Hairball this Saturday at the iSantee Rodeo Grounds for runner-up. We've got a couple of callers on hold, ready to compete for tickets. But before we bring them on, there's any number of things we could ask our callers to do today. Tony, what is today's competition?
The KQ Morning Show presents...
Band.
Not a band.
Band, not a band. So, like George Thorogood and the Destroyers, these bands have a and the in their name. Are they real or are they fake? Or fake as far as we know.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, well then we're gonna test our listeners' knowledge of actual band names. Candace, who is contestant number 1?
We have Kevin from Hopkins.
Kevin from Hopkins. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Steve. How are you today?
Really, really well. Thank you, sir. Everything good in your world?
So far, so good. Yep.
All right. Well,
hope you had a great vacation, man.
We all did. Thank you very much. Where'd you go this summer? Did you take a trip?
No. My mom had a major stroke, so I've been spending a lot of time at the hospital.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. We'll all go through it.
Well, I imagine we all go through certain things. That's for sure. Maybe some George Thorogood tickets would be a nice change of pace for you. So
we're going to all be winners today. I mean, Hairball too. Come on.
Right on. That's
great. Also,
Kevin, very, very well stated, sir. I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's rock it. How about band, not a band? Tony is going to be the ringmaster. Tony, take it away.
All right, Kev. He's very well adjusted. Okay, these bands have the and the in their name. Are they real or are they fake? Number 1, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
One of the persons I never got to see, unfortunately. But that's a band.
It is indeed.
Tis. Next up is Fitz and the Tantrums.
Fitz and the Tantrums.
Fitz and the Tantrums.
That's obviously not a hair band. I'm going to say not a band.
No.
Sorry, Bob.
Just not a band you'd ever want to see.
What? Kevin, I got to ask you, why was that obviously not a hair band? What about that says not hair band to you?
Oh, because I grew up in the 80s and I saw hundreds of concerts.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Obviously not a hair. Yeah,
one for two. I've heard of before. It sounds more like a jazz band, maybe. Or something.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Yes. All right. Well, number 3, Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Man, you guys are stumping me on these hard questions here. Holy guacamole.
Clean it up.
I'm going to say not a band.
Not a band.
Correct.
That's correct, sir.
I mean, the Purple Crayons? I mean, this isn't Barney.
Yeah, right.
Harold and the Purple Crayon. As important a book in my life as any has ever been.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
Love that book.
It was a book.
Was
book.
it?
Yeah.
It's a kid's book, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll get around to that this weekend, maybe.
All right, number 4, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them before.
Okay.
Boom.
Number 5, Susie and the Banshees.
Oh. If that's made up, it's a pretty good makeup one. So I'm going to say a band.
No, another one of those jazz bands. Yeah.
Good man.
Kevin pulling that one out. Well done.
Number 6, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Mark Wahlberger?
Not telling.
Actually, it's funny. At my boss's office, they got a picture of him up with Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. So I'm going to say that's a band.
It is.
Bam.
Damn good
I don't
one.
know if it was actually a band, was it?
Well,
it was a
gathering.
I'm stretching it to say it's a band.
Yeah.
It was a movement.
What kind of movement?
It was a bowel movement from the mid-90s.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, 2 more, mister. Number 7, Cousin Krasinski and the Cheese Platter.
Sounds delicious, but it doesn't sound like a band.
Correct, it is not. And 1 more, Bernie the Attorney and the Objections.
Where do you guys come up with this stuff? I'm going to say
Pot.
not a band.
I'm sorry?
Not a band.
You did very well, sir.
Wow. Was that 7 for 8? Or was it 6 for 7? How many was that, Tony?
Oh, darn it. Think I pay attention?
I think we only missed one.
Missed on Harold.
Yeah, I did. I know. It was that Fitz one. I think that was a jazz band or something. Probably something from the 30s.
Fits in the Tantrums is that's recent. They still exist as far as I know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do.
So if you only missed one, Tony, was that 7 for 8? I believe.
Damn it! I don't know for sure.
Oh, what? Were you just winging it? That's great.
All right, start from the top again.
Types of people in the world: people that can count and people that can't count.
I know he did miss one.
He missed one.
Yeah.
I got it here. I marked down 7 out of 8.
Okay, so be it.
So be it. Either way, it's strong effort from Kevin right there. Mm-hmm. And so, Kevin, hang tight. We're going to see, if 7 for 8 is going to be enough to get you the Thorogood tickets. Candace, who is contestant number 2?
We have Steve from Minneapolis.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
How's everything in Minneapolis for you today so far?
It's good, but can I be Steve-O so I don't have the same name?
Steve-O!
You got your first one wrong.
Steve.
You're 0 for 1.
Steve-O on the horn on the KQ Morning Show, competing for concert tickets. We're playing Band, Not a Band. Best of luck to you, Steve-O. Tony, take it away.
All right, number 1, Money for Nothing and the Chicks for Free.
I'm going to go band.
I'm sorry. It is a song, but not a band. It's a Dire Straits song.
It's a yeah, that's right. Lyric from Money for Nothing. Wow.
Yeah.
Rang a bell for sure. All right. That's all right. We Kevin missed one. Steve-O's missed one. We're still in this.
Right. Purposely tried to trip him up. That was tricky. Number 2, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
That is a band for sure.
Yep.
Damn straight, Steve-O.
Teddy Pendergrass on the
vocals. You
vocals.
don't know me by now.
Oh, the best. Number 3, Huey Lewis and the News.
That's totally a band.
It is. Number 4, Big Wiener and the Beans.
I want to say I was just listening to them last night, but I wasn't. That's not a band.
It's actually the working title for this radio show for a short time.
It was close.
Steve-O rolling along.
Steve-O, number 5, Sleepy Seth and the Comforters.
Not a band.
Oh, he's killing it. Number 6, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Band.
Wow.
Number 7, Haunted Cruise Ship and the Skeptics.
Not a band.
One more, Mr. Cool, Sugar Stevenson and the Taffy Assortment.
No band.
Wow.
Very impressive.
Steve-O stubs his toe and then goes 7 for 7 to go 7 for 8 total. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin and Steve-O both go 7 for 8. That means it is tiebreaker time, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Tony, what is our tiebreaker question today?
All right, you cats ready? This is music related. As of 2023, of course, the Grammy GOAT is Beyonce, the person with the most Grammy awards of all time. How many Grammys does Beyonce have? Who's
Kevin,
going first?
What's your guess, Kevin?
Oh, I go first?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't even tell you one Beyonce song.
That's quite all right. How many of those Grammy Awards does she have for the songs with no name?
19.
19. Steve-O, your guess. How many Grammy Awards does Beyonce have?
I'm going to go Price is Right style. 20.
Bay has 32.
32.
Just about everyone in her entourage gets one.
Goodness gracious. Well, it looks like Steve-O Price is Right himself right into some George Thorogood tickets. Saturday, September 16th at the Buck Hill Concert Series. Congratulations. That prize provided by Sue McLean and Associates. Kevin not going home empty-handed. As he mentioned, of course, Hairball Saturday at the Isanti Rodeo Grounds. That's provided by the Isanti Fire District. Gentlemen, well done, both of you. Congratulations. Have fun at those gigs.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Like I said, we're all winners here.
I like his attitude.
Amen.
Everybody. Everyone's a winner. That's the truth. That ain't no lie. Hey, speaking of band, this just occurred to me. Band names are great. You always wonder where people came up with names. What about a few different names of note? So we all are familiar with Bluetooth, like, the thing that connects your phone to your stereo, to your speaker, to whatever. Bluetooth is named, that technology was named after King Harold Bluetooth Gormson.
You what?
I'm not making this up.
That sounds so made up.
In the year 958, King Harold Bluetooth Gormson is the guy who united Denmark and Norway. No. Now, he's a real king, and he had a dead tooth. The nerves were dead, so it had a dark blue, grayish color, so people called him Bluetooth. And when the guys in Nokia put together Bluetooth technology, they took the Nordic, the letter H and the letter B, and they laid them on top of each other. And that logo, that Bluetooth symbol, is an H and a B laid atop each other from the Nordic alphabet to represent H for Harold and blue for Bluetooth, and they called it Bluetooth.
That just seems incredible, like an incredible way to get to a company name and logo. I mean,
it's a lot of extra thinking going on.
That's not an accidental, like, hey, you know what? We'll call it Checkers. No, it's wow. All right,
just some weird Nordic smarty pants guys coming up with it, and they're like, "What about Harold? What about that Bluetooth guy? Let's go with his name." Isn't that crazy?
What's crazy is I've never questioned it before. Oh, Bluetooth, that's the thing that hooks one digital device up to another wirelessly. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Bluetooth. That makes sense. I mean, why didn't I ponder that before? Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Good stuff.
Here's another one another one you may not know. The National Biscuit Company. That's the name, and they shortened it to Nabisco.
Oh.
What?
I like
Nabisco,
stuff like this.
short for National Biscuit Company.
I thought you were honestly going to say that's where NBC came from, not National Broadcasting. It's the National Biscuit Company. They got into television. Okay, National Biscuit. Well, that kind of makes sense then, doesn't it?
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you Google? Google is a math term. It's in the math term. It's spelled Googol. A Google. Do you know what a Google is? Anybody?
Is it a measurement, an amount of? What's the word I'm looking for?
It's a number. It's a
number,
one
right,
followed by 100 zeros.
It's a big one.
Yeah, that's a Google.
Okay.
Boring.
But, I'm sorry. What would you call the search engine of choice in the internet if you had invented it?
I mean, I think I like the name Google. I just thought it was a cooler thing,
right,
like Gigi.
Yeah, like Gigi.
Man, I don't know. Gigi it doesn't sound as good as Google it.
Oh, Gigi. I was just thinking it would be so cool to be able to text her right now, because I was just thinking about her and like how cute she is and soft, and I wish I could just text her.
What if she ghosted you?
Oh my God.
That'd be messed up, man. I would never recover.
I can't wait for that segment. Stupid things our dogs have texted us, because it's only a matter of time, right? They're working on the hat. Pretty soon we're going to be talking with our pets, and we're going to be recording our dreams, and then society's really going to come unhinged. Then we'll need people like Flash Shelton, thinkers outside the box. I love that name, Flash Shelton. What if your handyman was named Flash Shelton? That's exactly what he is. And
I would hire anybody to do anything if their name was Flash Shelton.
Yeah, well,
maybe not an electrician.
Well, that's true.
There could be an injury involved.
You have a point there.
Possibly.
Well, this is going to blow your mind. I wonder if you'd hire Flash for this. It's a very specific service. It's a new service for homeowners. It might be the first of its kind. I've never heard of this before. We'll tell you all about it at 8:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Tuesday, August the 15th. The Ides of August, I believe, is what Julius Caesar would refer to today as.
Yeah.
Right?
The dog days of August. Yeah.
Doesn't really have quite the same ring as the Ides of March, but the Ides of August, I mean, we all know what we're getting at.
Yeah.
That's the hump day of the month, if you will. It's all downhill from here. State Fair right around the corner.
Oh, my God.
State Fair, I know.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to eat all the pickle things. There's so many pickle things.
Yeah, I drank so much beer and ate so much food because we're on vacation this last week, and that's what you do. And, I'm out there hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds. And so I feel like I was really getting in shape for the state fair, drinking, stretching my gut.
her out.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, you don't just jump on a track and run a 10K.
No.
You got to build up to it.
True
and,
that.
You don't just go to the fair and decide, my weight in beer and fried items. You got to practice. You got to gear up for it.
Stretch that stomach out. Prepare the colon for what's about to happen. Right. You know what I'm talking about.
There's a colon prep booth there this year, I believe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm so excited because speaking of pickles, they're opening the Great Fried Pickle Stand, which is over by the main gate. They're putting one up by us, which is exciting. Another pickle stand. So that'll be great. Closer, the better, right?
Okay, I'll just come right out and say it. Never had a fried pickle.
Whoa, okay.
Okay, so yeah. All right.
Candace, sit down. I think she was going to make an emergency fried pickle run this morning. We're going to make him wait for the fair.
Listen, I like pickles. I like fried foods. I'm going to be happy. I've just never had the opportunity, as far as I know, to have a fried pickle. I'm excited about it.
Every 360 degrees of fried pickles out there, every direction you turn. It's waiting for you. Whatever you want on a stick, more than you can imagine that can be eaten off a stick.
Well, I did. I've only been once. It was 2009 or 2010. I played at the Minnesota State Fair,
That's
gig,
right.
and in for the day. And the guy, when we got to the show, the guys in our crew were regaling us with tales of all of the fried things they'd eaten that day. They were like, they have spaghetti and meatballs fried. They got Snickers bars fried and everything in between. And we were endlessly fascinated. And I don't even remember what I ate, but I remember eating. I tried a bunch of things, but I do not think a pickle was on there. I would have remembered that. I will get the pickled potato chips when I see them in truck stops.
My buddy Matt over at the State Fair, he works for the Minnesota State Fair. They love listening to us over there. They were sound checking the big sound system a couple of weeks ago with us on. Matt's texting me with a photo. Tell Candace it's almost done. Definitely one of my favorites. Can't wait to see you guys at the fair. They're working on it right now over there.
Wow.
Strong.
Yeah,
Strong.
Pickle Castle.
But before we get stuck into a fair rabbit hole, you did mention Zep, a handyman who's got a pretty fascinating service. I'd like to discuss this. So I have a buddy in Nashville who is a handyman for years in our house when we were there. My buddy Paul Trout, great guy. Hey Paul, I need this done. Sure, man, I'll be over there tomorrow. Boom. Having a handyman as a buddy is about as good as it gets in life because golden. I can do a lot of home improvement, but I'm good for if you give me a task and say, okay, replace this light fixture, I will do it about 80% right on a good day, 75 to 80% right. And that was always enough for me. And then one day I realized I have to get someone that knows what they're doing. I'm tired of faking it all these years. Once I got my handyman buddy, my life was saved. I was like, this is great. Anything I need done, I know it's going to be done correctly. It'll be done quickly. He's worth every penny. However, he never offered me a certain service. There is a dude by the name of Flash Shelton. He is a member. I shouldn't say he's a member. He founded something called the United Handyman Association. Flash Shelton's mom had a problem, and he helped her with that, and then realized, I can help other people with the same problem. And it's not a wiring problem. It's not a plumbing problem. It's a squatter problem. Okay, now squatters, right? A squatter is a person who settles in or occupies a piece of property with no legal claim to that property. Mm-hmm. So they're living there. They have no title, no right, no lease. They see an empty building, a vacant building, and they just move in. And in a lot of states, it's really hard to get rid of them.
Yeah.
There are things called squatters' rights that somehow exist out there in the world. So Flash Shelton, his mom had a property, had some squatters in there, and he got rid of them and realized, well, I can do this for other people. Now, follow this. He offers a service. I can have, if you have squatters, call Flash Shelton and he'll get rid of them. And how does he do it? He doesn't walk in there and wield a shotgun. He doesn't go in and threaten them. Mm-hmm. He goes to the owner of the building and says, write me up a lease where I live there, where I am a tenant legally, and then he will move in and live with the squatters and basically be so obnoxious and so rude and just such a douchebag that they will eventually get up and leave on their own accord.
That's brilliant.
I thought radio was my career. Had Flash come along 30 years ago, I think this is what I'd be doing for a living. It just sounds like too much fun. Here we have a little clip. This is Flash actually removing some illegal tenants. If you can just kind of catch it, we montaged it together.
They tell me that there's people here and that there's furniture in the house.
And who's telling you that?
The realtors.
That there's people here?
Yeah. So neighbors tell me that they see people coming in and the lights on.
Well, that would not be
neighbors
us.
there, neighbors there, neighbors there, and neighbors there.
That would never be us.
And those are the ones that have been calling me, telling. It all has to be out before I leave. I've got guys scheduled to come take the stuff out later today. So either you take it out or I have to take it out and put it out on the driveway until it gets picked up.
Well, it sounds like he's a man of action there. He's actually going to have some stuff moved out. But, yeah, he just kind of cozies up there right in there with him. I was watching a video a little bit earlier this morning. Yeah, he comes in. I mean, he brings the whole thing. He's going to spend the night with you.
He also brings Ring cameras and installs them in every room and tells squatters they're on a reality show. And he said people want to get away as fast as possible. They don't want to be seen. And then, if the squatter just walks out to go like get some fresh air, he immediately secures the home. Like if you walk out, you're locked out. He does this. It's not the thing I can't get over is that this is something. Like, he's actually doing this service, and people are calling him. There's obviously some squatter problems out there in the world. Well, I just didn't realize it was such a situation.
Well, I guess what's blowing me away about this, when you just imagine a squatter, you're thinking someone's moved in with a dirty old duffel bag and a shopping cart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a homeless person, and they're just busting in and looking for four walls and a roof over their head. No, these people are moving in with more furniture than I've ever owned. I mean, they're squatting and they're moving in with full bedroom sets and living room sets and the grandma's old dresser and that kind of stuff. I mean, this is some serious squatting, which I can't get over that word. But
I guess people really, once you've and squatting to me, it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes much easier once you've done the first one. The first time squatting, I can see being a little bit of I don't know, man. This is kind of creepy. And once you get a good night's sleep, you're just like, all right, I get it.
I love our new place.
And every time you squat at a new place, like you said, you're bringing furniture. Yeah, I imagine a squatter being someone who's just desperately looking for a roof over their head. They break into a window of a vacant house and then they sleep. But you're telling me, no, I got a sectional. Let's bring it in here.
They're living large, and so getting these squatters are more than just running them out. Flash has mover buddies that will come over and the moment they walk out the door, he slams the door behind them and then moves their stuff out.
Now I wonder if Flash Shelton services could be utilized if you are, let's just say you're living with someone. No one's squatting. You're in a relationship. You're cohabitating, and you just, the relationship's a little stale. You can't quite figure out how to end it, and you're like, "Hey, babe, my friend Flash is going to live with us for a little while." I mean, he could worm his way in there. What are we watching tonight, guys? And just immediately grab the remote, go to Netflix. No, I don't want to watch a rom-com. Ooh, let's watch this Faces of Death Part 9.
Crank his music all night, stay up late, start smoking in the house, all sorts of fun things.
Walk around nude.
I made a big mistake. I had a Flash Shelton situation in my own life with Rosemary that almost ended our marriage because a buddy of mine, he was in a relationship for a couple of years and she left him and he was devastated. And I mean spinning, like I really don't know what my life is. And I said, "Hey, man, over the holidays, is a guy who worked for the band. He was our T-shirt guy. Great dude. We're still friends, all good. But at a time, he was going through a really difficult time, and he was traveling. He was on the road. And I said, well, when you drive through Atlanta, just stop in and, pop in and stay for us for a couple days, man. You're always welcome." Well, a couple days turned into like just 4 days, but I say just 4 because it felt, even to me, it felt like about a month. Because when you bring a heartbroken dude into your house who's literally can't, no, you're here to get a little vacation from your life, and just kind of hang out with some friends. He was like, this is true. I woke up one morning and I'm like, who's playing music already? And he was he's out in my living room and he's like putting on CDs of just the saddest music you've ever heard.
The Smiths.
And it was just awful. And there was one Junior Brown song, I Want to Hear It From You. If our love is through.
Oh, no.
And I was like, and at one point, Rosemary looked at me, she goes, literally, me or him, someone's got to leave this house today. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that was mid 90s Flash Shelton work right there. Didn't occur to me. That's a great way. If I'd wanted out of the relationship, my man would have been doing me a solid. That's what I'm trying to get at.
That's phenomenal. I did not break up with someone. I was just moving back into town, and I arrived before my stuff arrived, and I even had a place to live. So my buddy's like, he's married, crashed down in our basement, and he left the marriage while I was crashed in the basement. I'm crashed. I'm just crashed out there, and he's gone for a couple of days. I thought he was, went fishing or whatever. I was like, dude, you coming? When do you get back? Are you out of town working? He said, nah, things aren't going well, and I moved out. And you left her. I'm here in your house, and you've moved out. You've left, and this is awkward.
Maybe you can make sense of her. I'm done. I'm washing my hands.
All right, so that's how I got my first family. It was a starter family. Instant
As
family.
a parting gift, we've got Brian Zapp.
Oh, God, that was awkward. He's like, no. She loves you, dude. I told her, you're only here for another couple of weeks. Just totally stay. I didn't. Then I ended up feeling so weird. I plunked the money down in a hotel, But.
I can imagine that. I wouldn't care how close I was with the couple, with both of them, especially with the wife. If I'm crashing with a buddy and he decides that's the time to leave. I mean, basically what he was doing was saying, you need to shoulder some of this, she's going to need to talk to somebody. Thanks, bro. I'm out.
No, not me, man.
No, it's not a good thing at all.
Yeah, I should have just started taking his stuff. Myself. Well, listen, we all know how long the boss wants us to work. We probably all know how long we need to get our job done. But how much should you be working? There's a rule out there to how much each one of us should be working. It's the 42% rule. If you haven't heard of this, we'll hip you to it at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 15th. Led Zeppelin with a song called Rock and Roll. The first time Led Zeppelin got into a room together in 1968, the four members of the band, the first song they ever played was Train Kept a Rollin'. And all four members said thereafter, we knew right away, like there was a spark in that room. It felt different. It sounded different. We knew we were onto something special. The band Aerosmith, of course, recorded a version of Train Kept a Rollin' on one of their early albums, taking a page from the Led Zeppelin book. Aerosmith singer Steven Tyler, in 2008, went to London and rehearsed with John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and Jason Bonham after Robert Plant said, I don't want to be a part of a Zeppelin reunion tour. The other three guys actually jammed with Steven a few times. It went nowhere, but there was some thought that maybe something would come of that. What I'm getting at is Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin, there's a lot of common ground there. And speaking of Aerosmith, would you like to win a trip to see Aerosmith on New Year's Eve? Well, then listen up. Aerosmith is saying peace out. The iconic rock band's farewell tour is hitting North America this fall, and we are sending someone to see them on New Year's Eve. One winner will score a trip for two to Aerosmith's hometown show, New Year's Eve in Boston. This will include airfare, hotel, and tickets to see Aerosmith with opening a special guest, the Black Crowes, on New Year's Eve. Plus, you and your guest will each take home a copy of Aerosmith's Ultimate Greatest Hits Super Deluxe 4LP set. How about this, if that's of interest to you? Text the national keyword deluxe, DELUXE. Text the national keyword deluxe to 95819 right now to enter for a chance to win.
Taste it and enjoy.
Yes. Taste and enjoy. Yes. Aerosmith in Boston on New Year's Eve.
Wow.
Farewell tour. That's probably going to be a heady night.
Yeah.
In old Beantown.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
One thing you don't have to give Bostonians an excuse to do is drink on New Year's Eve more than they already were gonna. But Aerosmith is going to be doing just that.
Yeah, that's one of those where you think to yourself, this is a big event. This doesn't happen often in life. I'm going to have to stay about half sober for it.
You'd think that. And that makes sense, but that, the best plans we make often go haywire.
Yeah, then you get too excited, right? And you just a couple, just to because I'm really partying here, and I got to just take the edge off, and then you end up smashed and passed out before the show.
We're going down to the Garden to see Aerosmith. I can't do a Boston accent; it's terrible. But boy, I can just imagine all the Sullys of the world just getting pie-eyed at that gig. It's going to be a good night for sure. Let's talk about the 42% rule. Everybody ready for this? How about a little breakdown of your life and whether you're doing it right or not? Formula that you can use to figure out whether you're working too much or just simply not giving your body and your brain a chance to simply relax. Studies have shown your brain and your body, they need you to spend about 42% of your time relaxing and not stressing to function correctly. 42% of your day should be spent, chilling out. This includes sleep, exercise, watching TV, reading, or anything else that you do to unwind. 42% of your day is 10 hours. So you got to have at least 10 hours a day where you're not focusing on work. To which I say, yeah, no kidding. Who the hell's doing more than 10 hours? Okay, I'm sleeping for 6 to 7 hours a night. I would hope some nights it's a full 8. That's great. But then I only get say another 2 or 3 hours to do other things, and the rest of my day is supposed to be spent working or thinking about work. That's never happened in my life.
Yeah, no, I don't like the 42. More like an 82%. But if you think about not just work but family. So say you've got a couple of kids, you have the young family. I remember, getting off work and then it's family work. It's that other work
that's a good point.
Right on to about bedtime. I don't know if I'd lump the kids into relaxing time, meditative time.
That's very true. There's a time in every parent's life when you're just an active chauffeur. You're running your kids back and forth to, when we were kids, if you played music or if you played sports or if you were a painter, you did it all at school. And it was like, I'm just staying at school late. Okay, cool. There was no driving you from one place to another and then to another before going home for homework. But that's not the world my kids grew up in, man. We were bouncing all over town with those two, keeping them in all of their projects and all of their teams and all of their activities. And that is a part of it. Yeah, sitting around the house paying the bills. I guess that's not technically work. But so 10 hours a day where you're truly just chilling. Again, like watching TV or reading, anything to unwind. 10 hours a day. Yeah, as a young parent, that's a tough one to come up with.
Yeah.
But now, I get 10 hours easy every day. I'm sorry, man. My kids are both gone. They're out of the house. They're in college. We check out of we're off the air before 10 a.m. I got a lot. I'm living the good life if the 42% rule is something you can count on.
Yeah, I mean, so you add that up through the work week, a traditional work week being 5 days, 50 hours. I can sometimes get that 50 hours of rest and relaxation in by Wednesday. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm a go-getter, though.
Fly that freak flag high, Zepp. Let the wind unfurl your freaky flag, brother.
Right. I would say, to anyone young and working their ass off, doing 2 jobs and raising a family, hang in there. Keep putting in the good work. Keep grinding it out, and hopefully it'll all work out for you. But you will get some rest and relaxation eventually someday.
We're you and I are in the golden age when the kids are older. Tony Lee, you're still right in the tunnel. You're right in the thick of it, aren't you?
Yeah, but when I'm with them, that doesn't mean I'm paying attention. I can zone out and get dreamy no matter what activity they're in.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's hilarious.
We got one of those fancy VCRs. I remember I was so excited because when the Disney movie ended, it automatically rewound itself and just started over again so Dad could keep napping.
I don't even remember hearing about such a device.
Yeah, man, there were some VCRs. Yeah, they would stop. They would get to the end. They would stop and rewind themselves and start again. And yeah, that was
What we would do is we'd put the basement was full of their toys and a lot of activities, and then we would actually chain them to the wall. And they could reach their toys, but they couldn't leave the room. So that and then they'd go right upstairs and nod out on the couch. That was great.
That's responsible. I mean, that's good thinking there. You don't want to get into trouble down there.
How old were your kids the first time it ever occurred to them that Dad had a hangover? Zep, what do you think?
Oh my gosh! I hope later than I think, but I probably wasn't around the girls too much wicked hungover, but they had to be in that. I think probably by the time they were 10 for sure.
Sure.
8,
There's a moment when they realize something's weird. At least they might not know what it is, but they're like, "What's wrong with you today?" Like I can remember like the kids being like, "What? Someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed," and I'm like, "What do you mean by that?"
Why is Pops cranky?
Yeah, Pops is super cranky. The tough thing too is when you're hungover and you're just thinking to yourself, I didn't even have fun last night. Like, how did this happen? And because you spend a day with kids and then you're blowing off steam because you're just like, I just got to unwind a little bit, and then you have a few too many and you wake up and then you're right back in a worse position than you were the day before because not only are your kids wearing you out, you've got the hangover. My kids knew at some point the key. Well, my son got his when he first got his driver's license. It's when he finally put 2 and 2 together, because there was a morning when I said, "Hey man, do me a favor, just go grab me a quarter pounder, would you?" and he was like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah," because when your kids first get their license, they will do any errand you want because they're so happy to be driving. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of, "Hey, go pick up the dry cleaning, go to the grocery store, get 2 pounds of ground beef and taco, whatever you tell them." They're like, "Yeah, I'll do it," because they're just so happy to be in the car. I said, "Go grab a quarter pounder, man. Just I don't need anything else, just a quarter pounder of cheese." And he's like, "Cool." And then by the time he got it and then came back in the house, he goes, did you get drunk last night? Are you hungover? And I'm like, "No, give me," it's 10:30 in the morning. Why are you eating a quarter pounder? I'm like, "Just don't ask any questions.
And go make me a bloody."
The only time I've had McDonald's for years, it still does it for me. The hangover food is that what is there a go-to, Tony? I mean, is there a go-to hangover food for you?
You know what? You're going to hate me for saying this. I almost never get hangovers.
What?
And I drink whiskey like water, and I feel great. It almost energizes me in the morning.
That's why he does believe in aliens, Candace. He is a freaking alien.
I've seen you deep in your cups, and I've even thought, "Oh, he's going to regret that tomorrow."
No,
and you
sir.
Literally wake up in a good mood.
It kind of energizes me.
How
I feel like
is he
I did
not
something
alcoholic?
nice. I did something nice for myself.
Okay, well, the
It's a
question I've
pampering.
asked myself for years, would I rather be able to fly or would I rather be invisible, now has a third spoke. Would I rather
I
have
know why.
Tony's non-hangover life?
So don't take this the wrong way, Tony, because I love you so much.
Same.
You're kind of slow, like in the things that you do. So I can see you drink slow, you eat slow. So I think just the time, you're taking your time with it. And I think that's why.
So the metabolism
Yeah.
has time to crystallize and find peace with it.
It's all about pace. So my whole thing where the first 3 beers have to go down in the first 3 minutes of that's a problem.
Yeah, see, I eat fast, I drink fast, I live fast.
All right,
you do.
Cruz.
Are you prone to hangovers, Candace?
Lately I've been getting lucky. Hold on. But yeah, I don't know.
Knock wood.
Is there when you wake up? Does it depend on the hangover, or is there a specific go-to if you wake up and realize I got to eat something, I got to help myself?
It takes me a while, but then I will. Yeah, McDonald's, Chipotle,
Greasy
Taco
stuff.
Bell. Yeah, Chinese food.
Have our friends from the scientific community confirmed that the grease for hangover is good? Because that's just been such a staple for me. The McDonald's, it's what it's there for, is hangover food.
Yeah, I don't think they've given that one to us. There's probably someone blocking them, going, "You can't, no, we can't tell them that crummy, fast processed food is good for them for a hangover. You got to have something like yogurt and oatmeal and do some yoga in the morning or something." Right, exactly.
Okay.
But we know better. We do our own. For me, it's pancakes and OJ. and I'm on my way. And some vodka in the OJ.
The OJ on a hangover it does me in. I can't do it.
That's, where I learned that? Drinking school. That school they send you to when you've been drinking too much. Not treatment, the court-ordered drinking school where you have to go take classes,
Really?
And so, I took the classes, and always the person giving the class is a bigger drunk than you could ever hope to achieve in your life. And they've been washed out so many times that now they make them give classes to other people. And he said, go with the OJ, the originally squeezed OJ. That was our first class, how to beat the hangovers. And he said the sugar in the orange juice tricks your body into thinking that you're still drinking and metabolizing that. So I started working in the OJ.
Then.
Yeah, you might want
so
to
our friends from the scientific community have weighed in, at least on that.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
so.
looking at a list right here, an article about hangover food regionally, and it says cheese curds are a big upper Midwestern hangover cure.
Sure.
How about cold pizza? I would say that'd be a good one.
Cold pizza, old pizza, yeah.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of. Anybody that's been in the South knows Waffle House. Waffle House will set you free, and anything, literally, and it's because there's grease in the air. You just walk in. It doesn't matter what you order off that menu. That is what Waffle House is there for you to eat while drinking, and then more importantly, after drinking.
The cheesy grits.
It's pretty spectacular. Yeah, the I used to go scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, and topped. That's they scatter them. They throw the onions, the cheese, the jalapenos, and the chunks of ham and pepper. Yeah, scattered, smothered, chunked, and topped and peppered. Yeah, nothing better in the world.
We were talking about dumb dates earlier. You did mention that it was ruined for you when a young lady you were seeing was freaked out because someone ordered chicken fingers. And she thought, gross, you're going to eat the chicken's fingers?
Oh, yeah.
How about this? In the Rocky Mountain region, their favorite hangover food is finger steaks.
Finger steaks?
Sounds impure. They're strips of steak battered and deep fried.
Oh, that sounds great.
Actually, it's kind of good right there. There's any number of sauces perfect for dipping when you throw some finger steaks out there. I've never heard of that. I'm familiar with the Finger Lakes, but this is my first time hearing about the finger steak.
Finger steak.
Hey, speaking of hangovers and what you're going to do in the morning, the KQ Morning Show is hitting the road for a long weekend. KQ up north with our friends at BigDeck.com. October 5th through the 8th, we will be at Cragun's Resort on Gull Lake. And if you don't want to join us for the whole experience, like let's say you got your own cabin or a place to stay nearby, you can pick up a day pass. You can join us for a live broadcast of the KQ Morning Show, drinks on the boat cruise, dinner, and more.
Beef.
Pick up a day pass at 92kqrs.com, sponsored by BigDeck.com and Cragun's Resort on Gull Lake. Again, October 5th through the 8th. Get to the website, pick up your tickets. Join us, won't you?
Beef.
No, that's right. You can watch us all deal with our hangovers together.
Exactly. Join us, won't you please?
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Tuesday, August the 15th. The Rolling Stones with Satisfaction right there. Dalvin Cook has got some satisfaction coming his way. The former Minnesota Vikings running back. Of course, six-year vet, 4-time All-Pro. Just a stud when healthy, signing a one-year deal apparently with the New York Jets worth up to $8.6 million. That is it's a bag of nice peanuts, but compared to the $14 million the Vikings were due to pay him, it's not quite what he had in mind, I guess, for this upcoming season. But a running back getting potentially over $8 million for 1 year in the NFL right now is he should be very happy with that, as that position has been pricing downward for quite some time. Zeke Elliott from the Cowboys, for crying out loud, he's now with the Patriots. I mean, a lot of people that teams were quote unquote building around suddenly went, well, no, we're not. Later, dude. So a running back getting $8 million, that's a good position to be in. Even though it is just 1 year, I know we would have liked more, but Dalvin Cook, the guy did the Lord's work for the Vikings for years. Good for him.
Yeah, and I suppose they're not getting beat up quite as bad. I mean, there's just not quite as much wear being taken off the tread because it's running back by committee on most NFL teams these days. So, you can look at it that, he's going to make not the $14 million he was supposed to make with Minnesota Vikings, but especially there with the Jets, they've got a few good backs there. So, they're just going to bring him in special situations, and, he might get only 10, 12 carries a game or something like that. But I like the pickup for the Jets, man. They are loaded for bear. If that team doesn't win the Super Bowl, flat out failure for the season of the Jets. The Vikings, hey, we're coming in. We got a new defensive coordinator, still some question, a lot of talent on the team. Offensive line's really coming together, but no one's expecting Super Bowl or bust, but they certainly are in New York.
I think the Jets have got they don't have the offensive line that Aaron Rodgers is used to playing behind. I don't think it's gonna be all rainbows and unicorns over there with the Jets this season. And then, as we all know, if things don't go Aaron's way early, that he certainly does. He's not the guy who rallies guys around him late. There's not a never say die attitude with him. He'll pout. I don't think the Jets are gonna have all that great a year. But to your point, the fans up in New York have lost their minds. They're convinced this is their time.
By the way, the number one quarterback to have on your team, if you have a subpar offensive lineman, still, I believe, is that Aaron Rodgers guy. He gets rid of it so quick, and he's so smart. And he uses the field probably better than anyone besides maybe Tom Brady in the last 10 years, or Peyton Manning, I suppose. But, you're right. I think there's a lot of question marks with that Jets team. Just the fact that they're the Jets. There's some stigma. It's like the Lions. They can be loaded with talent, too, but at some point you're going to expect them to just wash out. But, and here in good old Minnesota, who knows? A lot of question marks.
I mean, many a baseball player has said when they get traded to New York, the first time they put those pinstripes on, it still just kind of blows their mind. I mean, there's just so much there. And in the NFL, I don't know that there's a team that has the pinstripes. I mean, the Patriots have had this 20-year run. It's now over, but that was unprecedented in league history. But still, the talent, the strength, the championships, it's spread around in football way better than in baseball.
Oh yeah.
But so you don't have pinstripes, but you do have like handcuffs in cultures, and the Jets are one of those. Like you put on that Jets uniform, and it's like, well, let's see, they had that. Well, there was that butt fumble. Let's see. There was butt fumble. Let's see what else there was. There was a pretty good. Let's see. Joe Namath was good. That was 52 years ago. Okay, let me see. I mean, there is not a lot to get excited about to be a New York Jet, and especially a New York Jet fan. But Aaron Rodgers, at least, hey, hope dies hard, man. We'll see.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we'll see how they crank it out. It's going to be an interesting, entertaining season, no doubt.
We mentioned this earlier in the show. If you have travel plans on JetBlue, Spirit, or Hawaiian Airlines, start double-checking your reservation because there has been a recall of Pratt & Whitney jet engines. 1,200 to be exact are being recalled for a problem that affects right around here. JetBlue and Spirit both fly out of Minneapolis. I don't think Hawaiian Air has too many nonstops coming out of the Twin Cities these days. But there's an engine that was tainted with microscopic contaminants in a metal piece of its core. Blah 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 blah. All I know is a lot of airlines, and when one airline has problems, there's a ripple effect because everybody getting off those planes wants to get on the flight you're trying to get onto. So heads up, here's the next little bump. Here's the next burp in the road, as I prefer to say, for travel coming up. Jet engine recall. Don't remember ever seeing that.
No, usually they're a bit more attentive than, say, an automaker, where they there's recalls every other day and every freaking model out there. But no, you don't hear airline recalls very often.
What are you going to do? Anybody going anywhere anytime soon? Or we all, weekend trips? Anybody got anything on the board? You know what? Screw that. It's Tuesday. What's the afternoon hold? Candace, what do you got today?
Tuesday.
Come on. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's the Mike Evans Tuesday.
$5 Tuesdays. What am I going to do? I'm going to work out.
Nice.
Walk my dog.
Right.
Girl. Just the classics.
The classics.
Yeah.
Tony, anything on the schedule?
I'm soccer daddy today.
Aww.
Oh, really?
And then drinking whiskey.
Attaboy.
Can I drinking whiskey without the effects tomorrow? That's your superpower. If it's okay to ask, wasn't there a soccer team tryout recently? Did that go well?
Still happening.
Still happening.
Yeah.
All right,
pretty
let's
intense.
go.
Hopefully, I'll make the team.
All right, shoulder to the wheel. Are you in goal? What are you up front? Are you a striker? What's your position, Tony?
Oh God, I'm a wonderful viewer.
Yeah, this guy, when he brings the juice boxes, look out. Everybody's getting a juice. Everybody's not only getting a juice box, they're getting the flavor they want.
I can watch and comment.
I'll tell you what. But honestly, if in youth sports, they should make parents try out to be able to attend the games. There should be tryouts.
Let's have that. Yeah, just that. Like they do the alum game in college. The alum will come back and play.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that anymore. Division I, we did it in our little Division III school. The alum come back and play. Yeah, let all the dads get out there. And heck with it. Let the dad and moms get out there and play, and let the kids yell at them from the sidelines for a couple of minutes. I think that'll balance that scale a little bit.
My high school there was an alumni soccer game every summer for years, and I only went one time. It was in 2004. And so I was 21 years removed from high school, went back and played in an alumni soccer game. And and it's a small school in a small town. So we had a lot of people there every year. And the year I went was just coincidentally the biggest attended one, the most attended. Players from all these different years, but like the cheerleaders came back. A lot of people were there, just all milling around. They weren't. We were playing soccer. The cheerleaders were not cheering, but all the girls, all the guys, everybody was there. And I got on that field, and it was so bizarre how immediately everybody. It's like I could have so easily started calling everyone by their high school nicknames.
Oh, fun!
We slid right back in. The way that, like during a timeout, the guy I would have been hanging out with at a timeout in 11th grade is the guy I went over to talk to. It's like everyone went right back 21 years later, or 22 years later, whatever it was, and it was just like, here we go, time warp. The only difference was my brother blew his Achilles tendon out. So
yes, how many people got hurt?
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
he's just running no one within 20 feet of him, and all of a sudden his Achilles goes pop.
I love the alumni games, but you're right. I was the same way. After college, I went back for a couple of alum seasons.
Yeah.
As not a graduate, a college dropout, but they still let me come back and play in the football games. And yeah, your team was like the longest yard. You know what they've been through over there. They've done just like 6 weeks of badass drills and go to bed at this time and get up at this time and 3 a days. And then you show up as an alum with a pack of cigarettes, half drunk, and it's, like I said, the longest yard on your side of the field. Nobody's warming up over there.
No.
Everybody's just out to, just play around and have a good time, and then you realize, oh yeah, look how out of shape you can get in 1 year. How many muscles can I pull this afternoon?
Yeah, it's a sad reality. It's just about, at this point, it's long since crossed the line of no, I'm never going to be in shape. I'm just on a constant effort to be in less bad shape.
Yes,
it's just it's a very, very slippery slope, a sliding scale that gets wider with every passing year.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.